Dave Corinth here. Welcome to my shop. Today I want to do another unboxing. This time a block plane, one that I bought off eBay, and it is a Stanley made second line plane for a hardware store. Which hardware store? Well, we'll find out in a second. But first, I want to show you what I saw on eBay when I was watching this plane. So the title listing was pretty self-explanatory, and the first thing I do is the item description. And it doesn't tell me anything about the plane. So we're going to have to rely on these photos again. And the first photo is pretty good. Lots of good light. I can see that it is nickel plated, which would make this a 60, not a 60 and a half. As I zoom into the front knob, I can see the nickel plating's wearing off on that, but the Japanning looks really good. Also, the nickel plating on the hooded cap looks really good. Now, it's really important when you're buying a low-angle block plane that you check the mouth. And I zoomed in on this mouth, and I don't see any issues. But you don't want to buy one with a cracked mouth unless you're looking for parts. And this mouth looks pretty good. And I can see on the depth adjuster that there is no Stanley stamped on the back, so this is definitely a Ward's Master. Since this was an auction, I had to bid, and I ended up getting it for $16.27. So now that you've seen what I saw on eBay and know how much I paid for it, let's open this box up and see what's inside to see if I got a good deal or if I bought a parts plane. So here's the box, and I've noticed one thing about the packaging on the inside. When I turn it to the side, the plane drops to the bottom. And when I turn this way, the plane drops to the bottom. So it's kind of loose in there, but it sounds like it's either bubble wrapped or wrapped real well, so I'm not too concerned about it. So let's open it up, see what's in there. Of course, the approved box opener. And there it is at the bottom with a little note, looks like. Probably says something along the lines of, "Thank you." Okay. And there it is. It is kind of bubble wrapped, but not perfect. But hey, I've seen them a whole lot worse. So let's see if we can get this out of there. And there it is. Okay, let's get a better look at this thing. So here it is in person, or as I like to say, in the cast iron, because this thing has no flesh. And it looks at first glance to be pretty solid. Let's look for some cracks. I don't see any cracks along the sides. It does have some flash rusting here. I don't remember if that was there in the pictures, and I'm not concerned about it because that'll come right off. Let's look at the other side. Not bad. I can live with that. This is in really good shape. The nickel plating on the hooded lever cap, I mean, that's about 100%. I mean, that is fantastic. The nickel plating on the brass knob is wearing off a little bit, but that's, if you use these at all, it's going to wear off. So that's not a thing to be alarmed about. And of course, the back of this, the little knob here, that looks great. You'll notice it does not say Stanley. I pointed that out earlier. These hardware store versions don't say anything on them. And of course, let's look at the most important thing on this, which is the mouth. And I didn't see any cracks in it when I looked at it, and by golly, it looks pretty good to me. I don't see any issues. You can see this plane was definitely used. There are some little scratches here where somebody was using it. So this is not one of those that sat on a shelf and never got touched. Someone used this. And it looks like it's in pretty decent shape so far. So let's go ahead and take her apart. This is the lever cap, and yes, it is a lever cap because it does have a lever to lock it in place. But they call this a hooded cap because of this little hood here. And it looks excellent. No chipping, no break. Oh, you see these break up here a lot, which I don't really know. I guess that's from getting dropped. You'll see these often have cracks up here or in here. But this one doesn't appear to have any problems at all. The iron, now these are pretty simple. It's nothing more than a 60 and a half iron, except that it says Ward's Master Quality and not Stanley. Literally an identical twin. And it appears as though someone had hollow ground this edge and then honed the entire edge. Let's see if it's very sharp. Yeah, that's could be sharper, but nothing wrong with that. The back looks great. There's no pitting. There's no rust. There's, I mean, nothing. That looks, get real close on that. That looks outstanding. I think that's just dirt. I don't know what that is, but I'm not worried about that. So that looks good. The Japanning on it, my goodness, that's like 100%. I don't see anything missing anywhere. Maybe right there, maybe. I don't know. That looks great. I mean, that's near 100%. And this one has a fully machined seat for the iron. There's basically 3 versions of this. The earlier ones, which be the 20s and 30s and before that, they all have this fully machined seat here, which is great. I like that. And then later, this starts to get smaller and smaller and smaller to where by the time they're maroon, there's just hardly any place for that iron to seat on the front. So I like to see this fully machined iron seat. The adjustment, and I don't know what they call this, so if you know what it's called, please in the comments tell me what it's called. This little piece right here. On the earliest ones, this is cast, but on this one, it's a pressed steel one, and I don't have any problem with that. These work just fine. These 2 little slots here engage the iron. It allows you to move it back and forth, or up and down, or in and out, whatever you want to call it. I like to check the threads to make sure they're not wallered out, and these look pretty good. I have no complaints with that. There's a little dirt on them, but other than that, that's good. So now the mouth. Let's see if this thing moves, because a lot of times when you get one of these that's been sitting there, it's an older one, the eccentric mouth won't move back and forth. It gets seized up in there. So let's turn the knob. Good golly. Okay, there we go. Okay, so let's turn the knob and see if it moves. It ain't moving. Oh, there it goes. Oh, yeah. I think. Did that move? Yeah, it moved. So let's go ahead and take it off. There's your eccentric lever, or I guess you could just call it the lever. But that moves the eccentric mouthpiece or plate forward, and you can see it just comes right out. So, ooh, look at there. Yep, someone used this one. It's a lot of dust. That's in excellent condition. These are typically, you don't see Japanning on these. Usually it's just raw cast. And that one looks fantastic. So far so good. I don't see any issues. This thing, there it goes, the little lever cap screw. That engages great. It doesn't have any seizures. It's nice and smooth. And of course, this is the seat that the, whatever this part's called, rides on. And in the earlier ones, these are fully machined, and that's what this is. Later ones, you'll see this only have the sides machined, not the whole seat, but that looks great. And a lot of times you'll see these chipped on the top corners, and this one doesn't have it. As for age, this one's probably from the 1930s. I think, and I don't know this, but I think Ward's Master started making planes, or started having Stanley make them planes around 1933, 34. And they made them all the way up into the 50s, I believe. And the earlier ones are just as good as the Stanleys. The only difference between this and a Stanley, and this is actually would be a copy of a 60, not a 60 and a half. A 60 and a half has nothing but black dressings. The 60 has nickel plated dressings. So this would be a 60, but the only difference is that it doesn't say Stanley on the back of this, and it doesn't say Stanley on the iron. So this is an exact copy made by Stanley in New Britain, Connecticut for Ward's Master. And generally you can get these a lot cheaper than you can get a Stanley if you can find a 60 or a 60 and a half version. So let's put this thing back together. And there it is. So I paid $16 and I think 20 something cents for this thing. And I am absolutely tickled pink. I have a soft spot in my heart for these 60 and a halves. I like them. I think it's the best block plane Stanley ever made. It's compact. It's low angle. That means that it's bedded at 12 degrees. These work great on end grain. They fit in your hand very easily. I really do like the Stanley 60.5 and the 60s. You don't often see the Wardsmaster 60.5 or the 60 version. As a matter of fact, this is the first time I've ever seen a 60 version. I've seen several 60.5s, but I've never seen a 60. So I was really excited when I won this auction, especially for $16 and something plus shipping. I think that's a great deal. So this plane didn't have a buy it now option. It was a straight up auction. And so when I first saw it, I instantly put it in my watch list and I kept an eye on it, not knowing what it would go for. And on the last day, it was still only at like $12 and something. So with 5 seconds left at the auction, I put on $25 and I ended up winning this thing for $16.27, which I think is an absolute bargain for a Stanley, essentially 60.5 or 60 low angle adjustable mouth block plane. So with a keen eye, you can find good deals on eBay, especially even on really high quality planes like this. $16.27 is a steal for this. These are way better than a 110, a 220, a 102, a 103, or a 9.5 in my opinion. I really do like the low angle adjustable mouth feature that these block planes have. They're great for end grain, they're small, they're easy to maintain, and these things are wonderful. Comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll make more. Thank you for watching. And I even have a place for it on my till. So we'll put that one right there, and that fills a hole because I'm going to keep that one. So when I first started making these videos, I thought it would be easy. I thought all I have to do is get my phone out and video what I do, because I've been doing this for 25 years. Day in and day out, this is what I love doing, and I'm going to keep doing it. But I have found out that shooting the videos is only a tiny fraction of what goes into this. It's the video editing. You have to constantly make sure you're not making mistakes or major mistakes. Everybody can see that you make mistakes. I'm not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. You have people walking in the shop. You have to make sure the microphone's on, because sometimes I forget to turn it on and then there's no sound. The air conditioner kicks on and makes a loud noise. I have to stop it and redo it there. Little things like that. In the wintertime, I have a heater that kicks on and it makes a really loud noise. So I have to stop it and make sure that the heater's not going to kick on. So I just wanted you guys to know that I enjoy making these videos. It is a lot harder than I thought it would be. I'm learning a lot and I am enjoying it. So I appreciate you guys watching, and I will continue to make more and learn and hopefully make better videos. Thank you.